Coffee images right here again.
Young, giving dividends. I'm trying to boost your career and all. Know you got a bench, he ain't got one with the ceiling gone. If you wanna get it gone, give me the experience. Make me a believer like a feature at the cinema. Then we gotta keep it all a secret like the Pentagon. All these peeping times, people asking me what we been on. I know that it's bond, they just wishing they could watch it glow, watch it go through the fire like the Shaka song. Or was it yay? Either way, she gon' play the PlayStation. I play the Xbox, good gracious. I'm so grateful, it made me say thank you, thank you, thank you.
1,000 years ago, this was a marsh crossing on the edge of the fence. Today, it's one of the most famous university cities on earth, home to ancient colleges, 90 million pound art heist, and a garden that once recorded the hottest temperature in British history. This is Cambridge, and there's a lot more to it than panting and exam stress. Welcome to Cambridge. Now let's start with the name, because it's actually a bit of a linguistic accident. Back in Anglo-Saxon times, the settlement here was called Granta Bridge, alright? Granta Bridge, literally bridge over the river Granta. The Granta was the original name of the river that runs through the sea. Over the following centuries, the pronunciation shifted. Granta Bridge became Center Bridge and eventually softened into Cambridge. But here's a twist, alright? Once people started calling the town Cambridge, they assumed the river running through it must be called the Cam. So the river got renamed to match the town rather than the other way around. It's a back formation. The town literally renamed the river after itself. Cambridge story starts long before the university. The site was valuable because it sat at the lowest crossing point of the river, making it a natural trading post connecting inland England to the port of King's Lynn, and from there to Europe.
We keep on moving, we keep on moving along, we keep on rolling.
Right in the heart of the city sits one of Britain's finest museums, and it's completely free to enter, the Fitzwilliam Museum. The Fitzwilliam Museum owes its existence to one man, Richard Fitzwilliam, former student of Trinity Hall. When he died in 1816, his will left the university his entire art collection, his library, and an enormous sum of money, around £100,000, specifically to build a museum to house it all.
Keep it cool, calm, collected. At this point, you get the message. Life is.
The collection was first housed in a temporary space before a permanent site was bought on Trumpington Street in 1821. It took until 1834 for architect George Bassevi to win the competition to design the building, and construction dragged on through the 1830s and 40s. Bassevi never saw it finished. He died in a fall at Ely Cathedral before completion, and fellow architect Charles Robert took over, finishing the ornate entrance hall and staircase. The museum finally opened its door to the public in 1848, over 30 years after Fitzwilliam's original bequest.
Flying, don't play in today amusement. If we train, we ain't dying. Never sleep, never sleep, never. The moment that you rest your head, they think they can't compete. If you gotta skip steps, then the plan is not complete. Get your reps in, get your reps in, get your. Never rest on a past success. You gotta love what you do if you tryna be the best.
Keep on
moving.
We keep on moving along.
Keep it moving, keep it rolling.
Yeah, we ain't slowing it down.
Never slowing down, never
moving.
We
keep on moving along.
Keep it moving, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling, keep it moving. We ain't never gonna lose it.
Since then, the collection has exploded. Today, it holds over 500,000 objects spanning ancient Egyptian antiques, Greek and Roman sculpture, and paintings by Monet, Picasso, and Van Gogh. A lot of that growth came from later donations, including economist John Maynard Keynes, who gave the museum his personal art collection. And of course, it hasn't been all fun and games. It hasn't been all quiet. In 2012, a gang broke in and stole 18 pieces of Chinese jade in a heist worth an estimated tens of millions of pounds. One of the most valuable art thefts in UK history. Most of the pieces will never recover. But don't let that put you off visiting. All right, don't let that put you off visiting. This is genuinely one of the best small CE museums in the world, and it costs absolutely nothing to walk in. When I went to the museum, one thing struck my attention, alright? I had a question in mind. How were these massive stone structures transported to the UK? And I didn't really get a good answer, okay? But it seems they were transported by either boat or ship or something of that sort, alright? But if you know, let me know in the comment section. So there are many museums in Cambridge. You know, we have the Fitzwilliam Museum, we have other museums as well. And the next museum that I wanted to explore was the Archaeological Museum, the Museum of Archaeology. But they said it was too hot, you know. Temperatures were soaring high above 30 degrees and they had to shut the museum down. That was pretty sad. So after the Fitzwilliam Museum, I tried to go to the Museum of Archaeology, which was closed. The next tourist attraction, that I did was the Cambridge Botanical Gardens. 40 acres of living plant science sitting quietly just south of the CE Center. The story of Cambridge Botanical Garden actually starts long before its current site. The first attempt at a university botanic garden dates back to the 1760s on a small 5-acre plot in the center of town. It was known for years as the Walkerian Garden, named after Dr. Richard Walker, the Trinity Hall vice master who bought the land and gifted it to the university. As I mentioned earlier, the garden was known for years as the Walkerian Garden, named after Dr. Richard Walker. That original garden worked fine as a medicinal garden for training doctors, but by the 1820s, it was hopelessly outdated for modern science. So what did the university do? The university bought a new 40-acre plot on Trumpington Road in 1831, but legal wrangling and stubborn tenant delayed things for years. It wasn't until 1846 that the first tree, a live tree, was finally planted by the vice chancellor, officially opening the garden on the site we still visit today. From there, the garden expanded steadily. Glass houses went up in the 1860s, an early rock garden followed soon after, and the systematic beds were laid out to group plants by family for teaching purposes, a design that's barely changed since. In the 20th century, the garden became a hub for pioneering genetics, genetics research, and in the 1934, a huge financial legacy from alumnus Reginald Corey transformed its fortunes, eventually funding the completion of the full 40-acre vision. It also picked up an unexpected claim to fame. In July 2019, the garden recorded the UK's highest ever temperature at the time, 38.7 degrees Celsius, a record that stood until it was broken again a few years later. Today, it holds over 8,000 plant species from every continent, and it remains one of the most peaceful, least crowded spots in the entire CE. So next time someone tells you Cambridge is just exam stress and river panting, remind them it's a CE named after a mistake, home to museums, and a garden built by Darwin's own teacher. So here's my honest review about Cambridge. It's a quiet CE, full of bicycles, and a great university. See you in the next CE.